You come home after a long day, the door closes behind you. The room is quieter. Before you even remove your shoes, television is on. The background noise, the voice. You are not even really watching. You just need something in the room with you. A voice, a sound, a little movement. You play a podcast while cooking. You listen to the music while taking shower. A video while eating. A scroll while lying on a bed before the sleep. And eventually you fall asleep while someone else speaking still. Think about that. You spend your entire evening physically alone, but not with a single moment with yourself. Your whole day was filled with voices, but none of them were your own. Welcome back. I am Ayush Sanger. This is Beyond the Pattern. Today, I'm here to ask a question that modern life has strangely made difficult. Who taught you to fear being alone? Because being alone was once a normal part of a human life. Walking without headphones, waiting without scroll, eating without watching something, driving alone with no music, sitting in a room without needing to fill it. But today, even a few seconds of emptiness can feel uncomfortable. You enter an elevator, a journey that takes 20 seconds. Before the door even closes, your hand reaches to your phone. Nothing happened, no messages, nobody needs you. But the screen is already open. The silence lasted just for a few seconds, and your mind treated it as a problem that need to be solved. That's the hidden part. That's the hidden pattern that modern life is becoming extremely good at filling the gaps. Every pause has a screen. Every walk has a soundtrack. Every meal has a video. Every quiet room has a background noise, even when nobody is present physically with us. We are really psychologically alone, and slowly, without noticing, we begin to lose the ability to experience the solitude. Then when silence finally arrives, it feels so unnatural, it feels heavy, it feels like something is missing. But maybe nothing is missing. Maybe something is finally returning. We often confuse with being alone with being lonely, but they are not the same experience. Loneliness can follow you even in the crowded place. You can be surrounded by people but still feel invisible to yourself, still feel misunderstood, still feel disconnected. Solitude is different. Solitude begins when empty room no longer feels like a threat. It is not the pain of having nobody. It is the ability to remain with yourself without searching for the voices around you. But modern life has buried this distinction. It teaches us that being alone is something is wrong with us. It teaches us being alone means something is wrong. If you eat alone, people assume that you have no one. If you travel alone, people think you must be lonely. If you spend a quiet weekend with yourself, someone asks whether you are okay. We have turned constant connection as a proof that life is going well, and we have turned solitude into something that need to be explained. But what happened to the person that is always connected with someone else but rarely connect with themselves? They start knowing what someone else thinks, what everyone else want, what everyone else believes, what everyone else is buying, what everyone else is afraid of. But when asked, what do you think? They don't know, because their own voice has been interrupted so many times it can no longer finish a sentence. That may be the real price of constant connection. Not simply distraction, not simply wasted time. The deeper price is losing access to your own mind and That is not only about the phones. The phone is just a one tool. The deeper pattern is the relationship with our empty space. We have become trained to fill it. Waiting in a line, open the phone. Walking somewhere, play the music. Making something, play the podcast. Eating, watch a video. Going to sleep, scroll until the mind finally says, I can't no longer take it. Going to the sleep, scroll until the mind finally stops and become too tired to continue. Every gap become the another opportunity to consume, and the world built around capturing the attention get benefits from them, because when every quiet moment becomes the content, then every part of your life becomes available for someone else to enter. The system just did not fill our screens, it colonizes the gaps, the space where you once daydreamed, the space where you used to notice your surrounding, the space where an uncomfortable thought could become an honest realization, a space where an unfinished idea could slowly connect with another idea, the space where your own mind has enough room to surprise you. Now, before a thought can develop, another voice appears, another notification, another opinion, another video, and another explanation. You begin confusing constant information or input with knowledge. But consuming more thought does not always mean thinking more deeply. Sometimes mind does not need another answers. Sometimes it just needs a silence, a space where you can form your own questions. There was a well-known experiment in which people were asked to sit silently, sit with their own thought for a short time. No phone, no books, no conversation, nothing to do, and some participants were also given a switch, which was an option to press the button which gives them an unpleasant electric shock. And the amazing part is several people pressed it. Not once, not twice. That does not mean human beings hate solitude, but it reveals something uncomfortable, that some unstructured thoughts can feel so difficult that some people would like to introduce the pain than continuing sitting with their own thoughts. But why? What become so uncomfortable when nothing is happening? Maybe the silence is not the problem. Maybe the problem is what silence removes. It removes the performance, an audience, an identity, distraction. It removes the continuous reassurance that something outside you is happening. And when all of that disappears, you are left with whatever has been waiting underneath it. Anxiety, regrets, loneliness, unfinished dreams, questions about your work, questions about your relationships, the questions that were always there but never had enough silence to speak out. And as soon as those kind of questions appears, the easiest response we do is to turn back on the background noise. I understand it personally. After the long shifts in the kitchen, my feet hurts, my body exhausted, my mind has spent hours in the noise, orders, timers, conversation, machines, pressure. Then I get into my car and suddenly there is a silence. For years, my first reaction was automatic. Start the car, connect the phone, play the music or listen to the podcast. But one day I did not. I left the radio off. I drove back home in the dark. At first, I felt so uncomfortable as I could feel the road, engine, my breath. Then my mind starts speaking thoughts about my life, thoughts about the channel, doubts, whether I'm moving in the right direction or not, ideas that I had never noticed in the noise, the questions I cannot answer immediately. I only need to let them exist. And something becomes clear. Many of the ideas behind the real talk with Ayush or beyond the pattern does not appear randomly. When I was consuming the information, it appears in the gaps, in the silence, moments after the work when nobody was explaining the life or the world to me. That is where different ideas begin connecting. History with psychology, technology with human behavior, success with identity, future with the patterns that we are repeating today. Those thoughts needed information, but they also needed space. Because information gives the mind material, silence gives the mind to build within. Maybe we are not actually afraid of being alone. Maybe we are afraid of what becomes audible. When nobody else is there, there is a deeper truth. We drown doubts in entertainment. We cover loneliness with constant communication. We hide uncertainty under endless opinions. We consume other people's ideas before our mind has time to form its own. And eventually, we build a life in which we can hear everyone else's thoughts except ours. But when external noise start to become disappearing, you don't disappear. You got introduced to yourself in a way that you can't even imagine. You begin notice what thoughts are actually yours, which goals belongs to you, what you are inheriting, what kind of fears are planted in you by other people, what kind of desires are there when nobody is watching. That's why solitude can be uncomfortable, as it distinguishes the life you are performing and the life you are privately experiencing. But that discomfort is not always warning. Sometimes it's an invitation to build a connection with your own mind, an invitation to rebuild a relationship. This does not mean that isolation is healthy. Human beings need connection. We need friendship, family, love, support, community, and conversation. There are forms of loneliness that cause real suffering. This video is not to romanticize the pain. It is asking whether we are becoming so afraid of loneliness that we also abandon healthy solitude, because connection and solitude are not enemies. A healthy life needs both, a balance between the inner world and the outer world. Connection allows you to meet other people. Solitude allows you to understand the person meeting them. Without connection, life can become empty. But without solitude, life can become borrowed. Your thoughts become borrowed. Your goals become borrowed. Your identity become borrowed. You start reacting to the world without ever discovering that what you have chosen in the absence. Perhaps that's why solitude matters. Not because it makes you superior, not because quiet people are wiser, not because everyone should live alone, but because there must be at least one place in your own life where the world stops speaking long enough for you to notice what remains. So tomorrow, allow a small moment to remain empty. When you're gonna enter in the elevator, leave your phone in your pocket. When you drive, turn off the music for few moments. When you drive, turn off the music for few minutes. When you eat, do not put a video in front of your face. When you walk, let the walk be enough. Do not force yourself to become peaceful. Do not try to create breakthrough. Do not turn solitude into some productivity. Just notice, not the discomfort, the urge to escape it. Notice what kind of thoughts arrive first. Notice how quietly your hand search for another voice, and then stay for one moment longer, because the goal is not to silence your mind. The goal is to finally hear what it is trying to say. Maybe the voice you have been searching for was never have been missing. Maybe it has never given enough silence to finish a sentence. I am Ayush Sanger. This is Beyond the Pattern. Remember, answer was never the point. The question was, keep looking beyond the pattern.